Something felt wrong this morning. You looked. You adjusted. You tried again. Still wrong. Not your skin. Not your makeup. Your hair. And nobody has told you the real reason why. Because most people in this space are too polite to say it plainly. There are haircuts working quietly against you right now. Pulling your face down. Flattening the structure you spent 60 years earning. Adding years you have not lived. And the tragedy is that the fix is not surgery, not products, not a complete reinvention. It is one conversation with the right person armed with the right information. That is all. You are someone who pays attention to how you present yourself. You care. You notice. Which means this has been bothering you longer than you have been willing to admit. And you are one piece of information away from changing it permanently. Here is what nobody tells you. Most haircuts marketed to women over 60 are designed to be safe. Safe is the single most aging thing you can choose. And in part 3, I am going to show you exactly what safe is costing your face every single morning. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work immediately. Today we are covering 7 rejuvenating haircuts to look 10 years younger, rich, and elegant at 60 plus. And by part 2 you are going to want to stop and look in the mirror. I mean it. Part 1 opens with the one cut that stylists recommend more than any other for women over 60. Part 2 has a fix so quietly powerful that most women cry when they see the result. Part 4 contains something about layers that I have never heard said plainly anywhere. And it changes everything about how a cut works with your bone structure. If you have not already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The layered collarbone cut. You have been one haircut away from looking 10 years younger for longer than you realize. That is not flattery. That is a structural fact about how the human eye reads a face. And once you understand it, you cannot unsee it. This is the one a friend of mine heard, and immediately called her stylist the same afternoon. So stay with me, because part 1 is where most women have the single biggest breakthrough. And it starts with the cut that professional stylists reach for first when a client over 60 sits in their chair. The layered collarbone cut. And if you just felt a quiet resistance to that name, if part of you thought, I have tried layers and they never work on me, I need you to hold that thought. Because that reaction is almost always caused by the wrong kind of layers. Not layers as a concept. The wrong execution. And there is a specific reason why that keeps happening. Here is what most women over 60 do not know. Haircut to a single blunt length, whether it is a chin bob, a shoulder length cut, or anything in between, creates a visual weight line. A horizontal line that sits at the point where the hair ends. And that horizontal line, wherever it falls, draws the eye directly to that spot and holds it there. If the line falls at your jaw, it widens the jaw. If it falls at the chin, it shortens the neck. If it falls at the shoulder, it visually broadens the shoulders and pushes the eye away from your face entirely. Most women over 60 are living with one of these 3 weight lines and have no idea that the single thing making them look heavier, more tired, and older is the blunt edge of their own hair. The fix is not dramatic. It is precise. The layered collarbone cut falls 2 to 3 inches below the collarbone. And the layers begin at the cheekbone, soft face-framing pieces that angle down toward the collarbone length. This does 2 things simultaneously. It pulls the eye upward toward your cheekbones, which is exactly where you want attention on a face over 60. And it eliminates the weight line entirely by replacing it with movement. Movement is the word. Not volume. Not length. Movement. Hair that moves when you turn your head, catches light at multiple angles, and creates dimension where a single blunt line creates flatness. Yes, that's specific. The before and after difference with this cut is not subtle. It is the difference between a face that reads as tired and a face that reads as alive. A stylist I know in London, she has worked with women over 60 for nearly 3 decades, told me that when she introduces this cut to a client who has been wearing a blunt single-length style for years, the reaction in the chair is almost always the same. The client goes quiet. Then she leans forward. Then she asks why nobody ever told her this before. That is the question. And the answer is that nobody told her because blunt cuts are easier to maintain, easier to recut, and easier to charge for a quick trim. The layered collarbone cut takes skill and time, but it gives you your face back. What to swap? If you are currently wearing a blunt bob at the jaw or a single-length shoulder cut, ask your stylist for a soft layered cut landing 2 inches below the collarbone with face framing pieces starting at the cheekbone. That is the exact instruction. Write it down. Maintenance tip. This cut needs a trim every 8 to 10 weeks to keep the face framing layers working properly. A layer grown out is a weight line reborn. Coming up next, the one swap that takes 30 seconds and changes how your entire face reads on camera. Part 2. The soft fringe that lifts everything. Let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time you looked at a photograph of yourself and felt genuinely pleased? Not relieved. Not acceptable. Genuinely, warmly pleased. For most women over 60, that moment is rarer than it should be. And the reason, in a significant number of cases, is one feature of the haircut that gets overlooked almost every time. Not the length. Not the layers. The fringe. This is the fix I mentioned in the intro. And I was not exaggerating when I said some women cry when they see the result. Here is what this is doing to your face right now if you are wearing no fringe at all. An open, unframed forehead on a woman over 60 draws the eye upward and holds it there. And the forehead, in most women over 60, is the least distinctive area of the face. Your eyes, your cheekbones, your jawline, your bone structure. Those are the features that carry beauty and elegance. The forehead carries none of that. So when the eye travels upward and stays, it bypasses everything that makes your face extraordinary. This specific pattern is visually adding 4 to 6 years to your face every single day. And the fringe that fixes it takes one appointment to create. The soft wispy fringe is not the full blunt fringe you may be picturing. This is important. The blunt fringe, a solid horizontal wall of hair across the forehead, is not what we are discussing. That cut can work, but it requires very specific face shapes and the maintenance is exacting. 1 week past a trim, and it begins to work against you. The soft wispy fringe is entirely different. It sits just above the eyebrows, sometimes touching them, and it is cut in a curved, feathered line rather than a blunt one. The individual strands are tapered so the fringe has a soft, lived-in edge rather than a hard finish. When it is done well, it looks like it grew that way. Like your hair naturally falls forward with exactly that much grace. Write this one down. What this fringe does is precise. It breaks the vertical expanse of the forehead. It draws the eye downward, directly to your eyes. And your eyes, with your bone structure, are the most powerful visual element your face has. The fringe is essentially a redirect. It says here, look here. The result in photographs is remarkable. Women who have spent years feeling like the camera is not kind to them discover that the camera was perfectly kind all along. It was just being directed to the wrong place. I watched a woman in a salon chair once. Stunning cheekbones, posture like a dancer, white hair worn in a plain blunt style with nothing at the forehead. She sat down and showed the stylist a photo of herself from 10 years earlier and said, "I just want to look like that again." The stylist asked one question. She asked about the fringe she was wearing in the old photo. The woman had not even noticed it was there. That is how invisibly this works. You stop noticing the fringe. You only notice that something looks right. What to swap? If you are wearing your hair fully off the face with no fringe at all, ask for a soft wispy fringe cut just above the brow in a feathered curved line. Not blunt, not straight, not heavy. That single addition redirects every photograph you take from this point forward. Maintenance tip. A wispy fringe needs a light trim every 4 to 6 weeks. Between trims, a soft hold styling wax, not hairspray, not gel, pressed between 2 fingers and lightly worked into the fringe tips keeps it feathered and soft, never stiff. What I am covering in the next part. Most women find it even harder to hear, but it is the one that matters most. Part 3. The textured pixie with soft crown volume. Most women think the pixie is a short haircut. It is not. It is a decision about where your face lives, and most pixies on women over 60 make the wrong decision. Here is what nobody in this space says plainly. The classic close-cropped pixie, cut uniformly short from the nape to the crown, does something very specific to a mature face. It removes volume from exactly the place you need it most, and leaves the widest parts of the face, the jaw and the cheekbones, completely unframed. This specific mistake is quietly flattening your cheekbones and elongating the lower third of your face. And it is happening every single day. A retention moment before we go further. This is the part one mentioned in the intro. The one most women find hardest to hear. Because if you have been wearing a short pixie for years and loving the practicality of it, what comes next might ask you to see it slightly differently. Not to abandon it, to upgrade it. And the upgrade is smaller than you think. The textured pixie with soft crown volume works entirely differently from a standard short crop. The distinction is this: the nape and sides are cut close, short, clean, minimal. But at the crown, the hair is left longer. Not dramatically longer. 1.5 to 2.5 inches. And within that length at the crown, the stylist cuts in texture. Not uniform length, but deliberate variation in strand length that creates natural movement when the hair is styled upward and slightly forward. The result is lift. Real, visible, structural lift at the crown of the head. And lift at the crown does something remarkable to the face. It changes the perceived proportions of the entire head. The eye travels upward, past the jaw, past the cheekbones, and lands at the crown, which creates a visual elongation of the face and a narrowing of the jaw. The two features you most want to achieve after 60, delivered by where the volume lives, not by any product, not by any treatment. This one is everything. The texture within the crown volume is equally important. A close-cropped pixie with volume added, but no texture reads as a helmet. A solid round mass of hair sitting on top. The texture breaks that solidity. It creates pieces, shadows, movement between strands. That movement reads as youth, energy, and vitality in a way that solid volume simply cannot. Ask your stylist for a textured pixie with intentional crown lift. Those words matter. Intentional crown lift. It tells the stylist this is not a standard short crop. The crown is the architectural focus. Everything else supports it. What to swap? If you are wearing a uniform close crop with no differentiation between nape and crown, ask for more length kept at the crown, specifically 1.5 to 2 inches, with texture cut into the crown length using point cutting or razor cutting technique. Either of those phrases communicates what you need. Maintenance tip. This cut needs crown styling daily. A dime-sized amount of lightweight volumizing mousse worked into slightly damp crown hair, and then dried with a round brush angling forward and upward takes 3 minutes and holds all day. There is one thing about layers in part 4 that nobody in this space talks about. That is next. Part 4. The long layered bob with internal weight. Here is the truth about layers that most stylists never explain at the consultation. There are two entirely different things that both get called layers. And one of them ages you. The other is the one that changes your face. If you have ever had layers cut and felt disappointed, if the volume fell flat within a week, if the layers seemed to disappear, if somehow you looked in the mirror and still saw the same flat single-length weight, this is why. You did not have layers. You had surface layers. And surface layers are not layers at all. This realization has genuinely changed what women tell me they see in the mirror every morning. So hold on. Surface layers are cut into the outer shell of the hair only. The stylist takes the top section, cuts it slightly shorter, and leaves the underneath at full length. The result looks like movement in the salon chair immediately after styling. But within 3 to 5 days, the longer underneath weight pulls the surface layers back down. The hair returns to a flat, heavy, single-weight appearance. And the woman thinks the layers did not work on her hair. They did not fail because of her hair. They failed because they were the wrong kind of layers. Internal weight layers work from the inside out. The stylist removes weight from beneath the surface, specifically from the hair that sits between the outer layer and the nape. This is called undercutting, and it is the most misunderstood technique in cutting for women over 60. When the underneath is lightened in weight, the surface hair rises. Naturally. Without product. Without effort. The long layered bob with internal weight is not a shortcut. It sits between the collarbone and the shoulder. But because the internal weight has been removed, it moves completely differently from any bob you have likely worn before. It bounces slightly when you walk. It catches light through the mid-lengths, not just at the surface. And it frames the face without being heavy enough to pull the eye downward toward the jaw. That is the visual trick. Movement keeps the eye moving. A moving eye travels upward. An upward traveling eye finds your cheekbones, your eyes, your expression. That is where elegance lives on a face over 60. Yes, that's simple. Tell your stylist you want internal weight removal, not just surface layers. Ask for the underneath to be lightened specifically between the nape and the ear, and between the ear and the outer face framing piece. That specific instruction tells the stylist you understand the cut, and it will change what you receive in that chair. What to swap? If you are wearing a single-length bob that sits flat by the end of the week, you do not need a different cut. You need the same cut with internal weight removal. One adjustment. One appointment. Completely different result. Maintenance tip. Internal weight layers need to be refreshed every 8 weeks, not just trimmed at the ends. When you book your appointment, say specifically, "I need the internal weight checked, not just the length." That instruction keeps the movement working indefinitely. The next mistake is the one I see most often, and the most expensive one to fix if you leave it too long. Part 5. The face framing shag and the 2 cuts that complete your 7. Everything we have covered up to now has been about one thing: direction. Where the eye goes when it looks at you. What it finds first. What it finds next. And how long it stays on the features that carry your beauty rather than the features that carry your age. Part 5 closes this the way it deserves to be closed, with 3 cuts that complete your 7, and one of them is the most misunderstood transformation in haircuts for women over 60. Most women over 60 avoid the shag. They associate it with a younger face, a younger decade, a certain casualness that does not feel like it belongs in an elegant life. I need to tell you directly, that association is costing your face something real. The specific version of the shag built for women over 60 does not look casual. It looks rich. And I mean that in every sense of the word. The face framing shag for women over 60 is built on 4 elements. Curtain bangs, face framing layers that begin at the temple, mid-length body that lands at the collarbone, and internal texture throughout. Every element serves the same purpose, directing light and attention upward, toward the eye zone, toward the cheekbones, toward the bone structure that carries your elegance. The curtain bangs, parted softly in the center and swept to either side, frame the forehead without covering it. They create a soft arch that visually lifts the brow and widens the eye area in photographs. The face framing layers that begin at the temple flow outward and downward, creating a movement that starts at the widest point of your face and draws the eye along the most elegant angle your face has. This is not a young cut wearing old clothes. This is a cut that understands what elegance looks like on a face that has arrived somewhere. And the women who wear it look like they did not try to get there. They look like they were always going to end up exactly here. Your final 2 cuts from the 7. Cut 6 is the swept back silver lob. This is a longer bob, landing 2 to 3 inches below the shoulder. Worn with a soft side part, and the crown hair swept back with natural volume. The length keeps it elegant. The volume at the crown keeps it youthful. The side part creates asymmetry, and asymmetry creates energy. A perfectly centered part on a face over 60 often reads as flat. A soft side part creates a diagonal, and the diagonal draws the eye upward. Cut 7 is the modern wolf cut with soft face framing. This may be the most powerful cut on this list for women with strong bone structure. The wolf cut layers from the crown to the ends with more aggressive internal graduation than a standard layered cut. The difference in length between the shortest crown layers and the longest ends is 3 to 4 inches, creating extraordinary movement. On a face with prominent cheekbones or a defined jawline, this movement makes those features sing. What to swap? If you are currently wearing a flat medium-length style with no face framing at all, any one of these 3 cuts, the shag, the swept-back silver lob, or the modern wolf cut with face framing, gives you what you have been missing. Your bone structure was always this stunning. Now the cut will finally say so. Maintenance tip. Face framing cuts of all kinds maintain their purpose best when the face framing pieces are trimmed separately from the body of the cut. Ask your stylist to address the framing specifically at every appointment, not just the length overall. That single habit is the difference between a cut that lasts and one that grows out into shapelessness. I didn't expect part 4 to be the one people message me about most, but it always is. You just learned 7 specific, named, stylist-backed haircuts that work with your bone structure, your face shape, and your natural elegance. And you did it in one sitting, without a single appointment, without a single guessing game. You didn't just watch a video. You change what happens next time you sit in that chair. Wear this knowledge with the confidence it was always meant to carry. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 7 cuts are you going to ask for at your next appointment? Or better yet, which mistake were you making without knowing it until today? Next time, we are getting into the 5 hairstyle details that age you more than the wrong cut does. And one of them is something you do every single morning without a second thought. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I will see you in the next one.